That was a strong claim in the thumbnail, huh? Anyways, hello. I am using my pngtuber assets. You might have seen them before. I highly doubt it since almost no one watched my 100 sub special.
I decided to add more detail to them though. So, Miside Fanprojects. Whenever someone thinks of a Miside fan project, Miside Zero comes to mind. It has that really appealing atmosphere, which captures the original Miside vibe almost perfectly, and the new protagonist named Zero, who is literally just a blonde guy. So, it has that wonderful but long AF and occasionally cheesy dialogue with Mita, and we were supposed to get stuff for the other Mitas eventually.
As much as I would like to talk more about Miside Zero, let's just say there is a reason why we won't be getting any updates in the near future.
That's a whole different rabbit hole for another day. But fortunately, there are plenty of other fan projects that actually deserve some light. In fact, even if you ignore the fans entirely, Miside is doing fun enough on its own. But again, topic for another time. Let's get into the stuff you actually haven't seen yet.
Alright, one of the first Miside fan projects I saw, even before Miside Zero funnily enough, was the stuff HyrosG made. His long-running series is Miside in Gmod, or something along those lines, with various funny videos. I think the first video I saw from him was the one called Player Reads About Tiny Mita's Lore. It had some really funny moments. I especially like the fight that Player 1, why is this his most official name? And Crazy Mita had. HyrosG kept making funny and short Miside Demon videos up until he made the first The Bridge video that had a more serious tone compared to the stuff he made prior. Spoilers for it, by the way. I have timestamps for all the fan projects I talk about today. If you don't want to get spoiled and want to see stuff completely blind, if there is technically no lore for some of the stuff we'll talk about today, you can use them. Also for this specific series, there's blood and other stuff, so viewer discretion is advised. I will censor them though. It continued off where player 1 had powerful coding powers, with kind Mita convincing him to get Crazy Mita to change. As he and Crazy Mita went to do good deeds, kind Mita had some fun at the Miside house. After a while, kind Mita went to find player 1 and she lured him into danger away from Crazy Mita, so she thought he abandoned her. In part 2, it was revealed that this kind Mita was from a completely different part of Miside, where she was called Crazy Mita, crazy but with a K, and she had some lore with the Roblox character who saved player 1, Alan. This is a really promising series. I recommend checking this one out, especially since this has by far the most content from all the fan projects we will look at for this video. The quality could be better in the earlier entries, but the animation and other stuff got really good after part 1 of the bridge came out. Oh, also, the blue outfit was revealed later, in case you were wondering. Oh, by the way, the background footage I'm using, when I'm not talking about any particular fan project, is Neuromita. Charming little Miside mod that is. There's going to be a really large update to it eventually, They will even have an inventory and stuff. Mita aside, the next fun project I'm going to talk about is Locked Inside, that was made by HyrosG. I stumbled upon this from a video showcasing this Fanprojects MC pressing on a plushie while being in the dangerous sewers area with the dummies. I was pleasantly surprised that there was an actual game that you could download through the link in the description from its release trailer. The game is evidently really janky, with collisions not being handled well, mostly within the MC's house, and the games you play later on also have some issues. I still remember getting stuck because the shooting minigame counted down way faster than I expected, but apart from these issues, the pacing for this game is pretty nice. I especially like the horror aspects later on, even if they are a bit bad compared to actual Miside horror. I give props to the solo creator, I think, of this project for making me scared. There's even a small ARG element with binary on top of walls. I will pause for a bit for you to see the translation. And you can even collect 4 copy plushes to permanently unlock the copy plus on the extras menu. HyrosG also has a bunch of videos for Locked Inside, so if you aren't in the mood to play the game, you could check out those as well. Despite being rough around the edges, I can't say I didn't enjoy my time with Locked Inside, and I can at least say the animation within the videos is pretty good. Oh yeah, fun fact. The only fun projects within this video that have an actual game attached to them, no, Mita is a mod, are Miside Zero and Locked Inside. It's the very reason why I didn't put fun games in the title or thumbnail actually. Anyways, the next fun project was something I have been waiting for ever since I saw its trailer. Heck, it even introduced me to Don't Join Team Red. It's called Miside ARG. It was made by MRFGXStudios. Weird name, not gonna lie. At first, it only had a reveal trailer where it showed the creation of a new Mita, and the animation was pretty good. Honestly, the trailer did its job really well. After the first part of the series, released months later, we got a bunch of stuff from the MRFGXStudios channel. As for the first part itself, honestly, I was a bit disappointed with the voice acting and the pacing. It went from 1 to 100 instantly when player 1 left his phone, and the voices did put me off, but the animation is still really good and other aspects of the video hold up well, so it was still an enjoyable watch, not gonna lie. Honestly, I am glad we got other videos showcasing various concept ideas and music for the Miside ARG, as well as just some unrelated plain Miside stuff. I especially like the main menu music that was posted. I have it playing in the background while I talk about this fun project actually. Before the first part came out, several community posts were made. Here's one of them. It looks pretty scary, not gonna lie. They recently reached 4K subscribers. They made a post about that as well. If you are interested in this project, go show them some love, alongside the other projects I talked about or will talk about for this video. Alright, we're getting towards the final fun projects I want to talk about. Don't worry, there will be honorable mentions of more smaller stuff as well. This next fun project I'm going to talk about had Max and Jump actually react to it. So I recommend checking that out after this video. Max and Jump has a pretty good Miside channel in general, honestly, but he does other stuff as well. You already know what this fun project is called. From Max's video, I literally saw it some seconds ago, but for the sake of consistency, its name is Miside New Story Mode. This fun project follows the events of the escape ending, where player 1 pretty humorously gets yeeted from core Mita to version 1.9, just like in actual Miside, but we see it from the perspective of kind Mita, who sadly gets left behind. From what I gathered, this mod will follow the original scrap plans of hiatus for a separate ending, with us learning more of the Miside world through the lens of other characters, primarily from kind Mita I think, after the events of the escape end. While the first video focused on kind Mita, the other videos focus more on the new players we will meet. And no, sadly the long hair guy isn't player 1, apart from the fact that I think the devs confirmed it. His eye color is yellowish orange, not black like player 1's. We get to see through the eyes of core Mita in the video he gets introduced in, and we also meet a brown hair player in another video. In fact, that second player I mentioned has ties to player 1. He knows his sister, and they were presumably friends or core workers who wanted to get into Geovorp. Honestly, I really appreciate player 1's lore being fleshed out, but I low-key want to see a confrontation with his cartage. Would be pretty interesting to see player 1 as a henchman of Crazy Mita, but I doubt they want to go that direction, which is fair I guess. Also got an OST video for the safe room area. I will also actually have this in the background while I talk about these fan projects. It's a really dope chill music. The last video is mostly about ghostly Mita, with her having most of her appearance being restored, just like player 1 left her, and the thumbnail teases for her potentially regaining her face. I think the ghostly Mita video is the scariest they have shown so far. They are also going to have completely original Mitas, with DJ Mita being teased in a YouTube post. Honestly, I am excited to see where they are going with this, especially since this will be a playable fan project. It's a Miside mod after all. Okay, I have one last fan project I want to talk about before we go to the honorable mentions. If you haven't noticed already, I have toned down the sound really heavily or outright muted the clips I'm using in the background, apart from the upcoming section in the start, I guess. I mostly did this to remove an aspect of what I'm showing, to give you a reason to watch the OG things. The saying that horror is mostly about sound and anticipation is pretty true after all. The other reason I did this is the obvious fact that I want my voice to be more noticeable. Speaking of my voice, I really have to get a new mic. I have heard back my voice countless times, and every time I get slightly cut off, sometimes completely cut off, or a sound glitch happens, I cringe. But I honestly have recorded way too much to redo the voiceover. Anyhow, the last main fan project I'm going to talk about is Miside the Way Home, which was made by HyrosG09. Don't worry, I will talk about the guy in the thumbnail eventually. It wasn't clickbait. So, I remember seeing this video series in the general fan art channel within the official Miside Discord server. It thankfully had English subtitles since the voice acting is entirely in Russian. Miside the Way Home has 4 entries, and it primarily focused on a newborn, kind Mita, and the veteran, motherly but also badass short hair Mita. I honestly really enjoy watching the reactions from kind Mita, especially from the first episode where she hides behind a cab wearing Mita, but also the understanding and caring side of short hair Mita. We don't get to see it too much in actual Miside. Part 2 also had a slight horror element with the spider human head thing showing up, which honestly caught me a bit off guard since I thought the series was going to be only wholesome. But of the rest of the parts were mostly pretty chill. Honestly, I don't have many complaints for this series, apart from wanting an English voice acting remake, I guess. But that's a really heavy nitpick, especially since we got subtitles, or we can just use YouTube's auto-translate ones. The most recent Miside series that HyrosG09 started is called Miside I Am Not Saying That, which translates to Miside Limited Reality. As I promised before, this series follows a brown-haired, depressed protagonist getting a voice message from their friend about checking out an app like Miside that will help their current state. They check it out, which has them choose between 2 versions, the fully 3D or the 2D chibi one. After choosing 3D, a time lapse happens and the video eventually ends. While it isn't as hype as Miside the Way Home, I am still excited to see a new entry for this series. It had a really nice sad vibe, honestly. Also, disclaimer, you need auto-translate subtitles for that last video I talked about, and sometimes generally for HyrosG09's videos, since they are a Russian channel first and foremost, which makes sense, their Miside devs were Russian. There's nothing wrong with that, but I can see why their reachability took a hit. Even the Miside New Story mode had that problem a bit. Alright, so we finally reached the honorable mentions. Honestly, thank you to anyone who genuinely made it this far. I know my accent can be off-putting, so hopefully the fan projects I talked about were interesting enough to be a counterbalance. Anyways, the first honorable mention I want to give is Jer. I completely forgot to mention them in the Miside Zero section. He was literally the composer for the music. All of the music he made was phenomenal, but he also makes great funny animated videos. For my next honorable mention, just like with Zer, several Miside fans have made one-off animation videos or AMVs, and I always enjoy seeing when a new one comes out. Here are a few you should check out. Speaking of AMVs, there are a lot of Miside music videos out there. I listened to 3 of them even to this day. All of them are really popular to varying degrees, so I bet you have seen at least one as a Miside fan, but definitely check them out if you haven't already. Another honorable mention goes to the wattpad writers. The most prominent Miside fanfiction series on Wattpad is from a famous Miside YouTuber, Zombly, called Miside Aftermath. I have read the start of it, and so far it's a good read, so I recommend checking it out. Here are some other Miside Wattpad fanfics I came across too. Last but not least, I have made Miside fan projects myself. The first thing I made was the Roblox FNAF style Miside game, Five Nights at Mita's. I will show footage of it in the background. A lot of my Roblox online friends worked on this one, so if you're a fan of what it delves into, I suggest checking it out. Roblox is free after all. My other more Miside focused fan project is Loopside. It's a Miside fan comic I made that acts as a sequel story to the events of the escape ending. We go through the eyes of player 1 again, now dealing with the supernatural and of digital threats, though this series his nickname is Nobody. I am not too proud of my first chapter being scat, not very well cleaned pencil things, but at least chapter 2 is fully digital. I am really intrigued with the potential that I can see in player 1's characterization. Yes, he does have one actual Miside, so check that out if you are also interested. Sorry if I was too harsh when I pointed out flaws for the other fan projects, by the way. Since I make stuff myself, I know how hard it is to put something out. I mostly say those things out of passion or to not seem overly pandering. Okay, phew. Took me a while to make this video. If it doesn't underperform severely, I will make more stuff like this in the future about other Miside topics. Or heck, maybe something else after the hype dies down in 2027. We still got that Kickstarter merch arriving as well. Yes, but I don't know if I will make a video about that. Anyways, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.